I have been sitting here thinking about our Houston Texans, and honestly, the shift in energy around this roster is palpable. Something just came out regarding the running back room that could shake up everything we thought we knew about our offensive identity for 2026. It is fascinating because it touches on the role of a fan favorite and how a major veteran addition changes the entire chessboard. The more details surface, the harder it is to ignore the new vision taking shape behind the scenes. Hit that like button and subscribe, then drop your name and city in the comments. Let us dive in. The Houston Texans have officially reshaped the backfield by acquiring veteran running back David Montgomery from the Detroit Lions to stabilize our ground game. As Houston Texans fans, we remember how Woody Marks stepped up last season when Joe Mixon suffered a mysterious foot injury. Marks was a savior for us, grinding through 16 games and recording over 900 yards from scrimmage while proving he could handle the lead role as a rookie. He earned our respect by fighting for every yard during a year where our run efficiency struggled, ranking near the bottom of the league in several critical metrics. Recently, KPRC2 reporter Aaron Wilson announced that our coaching staff is moving Marks into a versatile, complementary role for 2026. This shift means Marks will focus on third down pass catching, specific carries, and even kickoff returns to maximize his explosive playmaking ability. The fan base initially felt conflicted because we grew fond of Marks as our primary guy, but the reality is that we needed a reliable veteran presence like Montgomery to carry the goal line load and anchor the rushing attack. And honestly, this news hit us with a mix of relief and intrigue because it signals a strategic evolution under head coach Demeco Ryans. We are moving away from forcing a young player to carry the entire load, instead leveraging his unique skill set as a weapon in space. This change is exactly what this team needs to improve our third down conversion rates and consistency. While his total rushing volume will naturally decrease, the truth is that Marks is now poised to be a far more dangerous asset for this offense. By lightening his workload, we allow our talented playmaker to maximize his ceiling in a specialized capacity that keeps defenses guessing while the team rallies for another run at glory. Toro time. The decision to bring in David Montgomery reflects a clear front office mandate to correct the abysmal rushing efficiency that plagued us last season. After Joe Mixon suffered that mysterious foot injury, Woody Marks was thrust into a featured role he was not yet built to handle for a full 16 games. We saw him log nearly 200 carries, but the team still finished 27th in rushing touchdowns, which forced Demeco Ryans to acknowledge that our ground game lacked the necessary physical identity to close out tight contests. Historically, we have seen this organization struggle to transition young playmakers into workhorses without veteran stabilizers, much like the inconsistent rotation of the early 20s. Behind closed doors, the staff likely views this shift as a calculated move to preserve Marks for the long haul. By limiting his between the tackles pounding, they can weaponize his explosive speed in space, specifically on third downs and special teams where his athleticism offers a mismatch against linebackers. We know that Marks is capable, as he proved by racking up 911 yards from scrimmage last year, but he was essentially forced to play through exhaustion because he was the only viable option on the roster. The coaches are banking on the idea that a specialized role will actually increase his per-touch efficiency, rather than just forcing him to absorb contact on every single snap. They want him to evolve into a versatile chess piece rather than a primary bell cow, ensuring he stays healthy while the offensive line finds a better rhythm under the guidance of our veteran additions. Ultimately, this move is about building a sustainable offensive structure where our playmakers are positioned to succeed rather than just survive, and it represents a massive upgrade in our overall strategic flexibility for this upcoming campaign. Toro time. The bottom line here is that we are looking at a fundamental shift in our offensive identity, and the stakes for the upcoming season could not be higher. After ranking near the bottom of the league in rushing efficiency last year, this team simply had to find a more reliable solution than forcing Woody Marks into an RB1 role he was not yet built to handle. By bringing in David Montgomery to take the heavy hits, we have effectively reset our depth chart, moving Marks into a versatile Swiss Army knife role that maximizes his explosive potential. This transition changes everything for our salary cap allocation by balancing veteran stability with rookie-scale cost-effectiveness, allowing us to invest elsewhere. When we look ahead to key matchups against Shane Steichen and the Colts, or our gritty clashes with Robert Saleh in Tennessee, having a backfield that can actually chew clock and win on third downs is the difference between a division title and missing the playoffs. Marks will no longer be worn down by 20 carries a game, which keeps him fresh to exploit mismatches in the passing game against aggressive defensive schemes. This is where it gets real because our ability to sustain drives and avoid those early down stalls from 2025 will dictate whether we can keep pace with high-powered offenses across the league. If we can establish a consistent ground attack with Montgomery leading the way, we suddenly become a much more balanced unit that is impossible to defend in the red zone. This move forces our AFC South rivals to respect both the power run and the pass-catching threat Marks provides, which opens up the entire playbook for our coaching staff. As Houston Texans fans, we know that success in this league is all about matchups, and this new look gives us every advantage we need for Toro time. The strongest argument for bringing in David Montgomery is simple because his veteran presence provides the physical, downhill stability we lacked during last season's inconsistent ground attack, effectively allowing Demeco Ryans to establish a reliable identity in the trenches. By taking the heavy lifting off Woody Marks, we preserve our young weapon for explosive situational packages, which should significantly raise our offensive efficiency on third downs. On the flip side, the obvious risk involves stifling the momentum Marks built during his breakout stretch last year, as moving a rhythm-based runner to a specialized utility role could potentially stunt his development or lower his overall confidence. Around the league, media circles are split, with some analysts praising the savvy balance of power, while others worry that delegating a proven producer like Marks to kick returns and third down work might be a classic case of overthinking the depth chart. What I really think is that this move is a brilliant gamble on versatility rather than volume. While I acknowledge the fear that we might be capping the ceiling of a rising star, the sheer benefit of having a fresh Marks available as a dangerous pass catcher and change of pace back outweighs the ego-driven need for him to reach high carry totals. If we want to move past those 23rd ranked third down conversion struggles from 2025, we need players in roles where their specific physical traits shine brightest. Montgomery provides the anchor for early downs, and Marks provides the dynamic spark that makes our offense truly unpredictable for defensive coordinators. Trusting this coaching staff to maximize these distinct skill sets is the right path toward the championship-caliber football we all crave, especially if it means our most explosive players are energized late in games. It is time to embrace the change and trust the vision. Toro time. The bottom line here is that the acquisition of David Montgomery and the strategic shift for Woody Marks signals a much more mature, versatile vision for our offense under Demeco Ryans. We are moving away from relying on a single back to carry the load, and instead, we are building a multi-dimensional ground attack that can actually sustain drives and convert on third down. This shift represents a franchise direction focused on balance, sustainability, and playoff-caliber efficiency that we simply lacked last season. As Houston Texans fans, we should feel incredibly optimistic about this move because it stabilizes our weaknesses without sacrificing the electric potential we saw in Marks. We now have a veteran hammer in Montgomery to close out games and a Swiss Army knife in Marks who can stretch the defense in ways we have never seen before. This level of tactical flexibility is exactly how elite teams separate themselves from the pack. It allows us to keep fresh legs on the field while forcing opposing defensive coordinators to account for multiple skill sets every single snap. Think about it this way. We are no longer just hoping for big plays, we are engineering them through smart personnel usage. This is the kind of roster construction that turns a fringe playoff team into a legitimate title contender over the next few seasons. It is time to embrace the process and trust the vision Demeco Ryans has for this group. I want to know your thoughts on this new backfield dynamic, so let me know in the comments below. Do you believe Woody Marks will record more receiving yards than rushing yards this season? If you enjoyed the video, do not forget to like it and subscribe to the channel. Toro time. I'll see you in the next one.